My name is Jeanette, and I want to thank you for joining me on the channel, Jane Reads. So today is day 3 of Bookmas. I will link days 1 and 2 in the description bar below, so you can go back and look at those videos. In day 1, I explain how Bookmas is working. So I have envelopes for each day with prompts inside. So I open up the envelope and then do whatever the prompt says. So let's get started on day 3. Jane Reads Thoughts. What book are you reading today? And then check in with us throughout the day to share your thoughts on today's book. I'm currently reading on my Kindle Things I Never Told You by Beth K. Vogt? Vogt. I'm not sure how to say that. This is just my Kindle cover, so I'll insert a real picture here. I'm going to pull up the Goodreads to read you what it's about. So this is book 1 of the Thatcher Sisters series. It has been 10 years since Peyton Thatcher's twin sister died in an accident, leaving the entire family to cope in whatever ways they could. No longer half of a pair, Peyton reinvents herself as a partner in a successful party planning business and is doing just fine as long as she manages to hold her memories and her family at arm's length. But with her middle sister Julian's engagement, Peyton's party planning skills are called into action, which means working alongside her opinionated older sister Joanna, who always seems ready for a fight. They can only hope that a wedding might be just the occasion to heal the resentment and jealousy that divides them, until a frightening diagnosis threatens Julian's plans and her future. As old wounds are reopened and the family faces the possibility of another tragedy, the Thatchers must decide if they will pull together or be driven further apart. So I bought this book back in 2019 when I saw it on a Kindle sale. It intrigued me when I read it, the description of it. I have only ever read one other book by this author, and I didn't really enjoy it that much, but I don't know if I read that one after I had bought this one already or before. I don't remember. As I said, I bought it in 2019. So it's been on my Kindle for quite a few years. So it is a book that I had put on my TBR bingo board that I was trying to get to read this year. So it is the only book that was left on my TBR bingo board that I either haven't read or didn't come up on my December TBR. So it was kind of one that I needed to get to if I'm going to finish that bingo board this year. So I decided to start it. I actually started it yesterday. I am 49%, so basically halfway through the book. And right now, I'm enjoying it, but not as much as I kind of hoped. It's hard to explain. So really, this book talks about two of the sisters, Peyton, the one that lost her twin 10 years ago, and Jillian, the one who is engaged and now facing a life-threatening illness. So I don't really connect with Peyton. I have not connected with her throughout. I really am more drawn to Jillian's story and wanting to know. So every time her point of view comes up, that's the one that I want to keep reading. And then when it switches back to Peyton, I'm not connected as much, and it's easier for me to put down and stop. But I mean, as I said, I started this book yesterday, and I'm already 50% of the way through. So we'll see where it goes from here. So right now we're at the point where Jillian has just learned about her illness and kind of working through kind of the steps for recovery or towards remission, and will it work, and what does that mean for her upcoming wedding? So there's 3 sisters involved in this. The older sister is very, very pushy and kind of a take charge kind of person and really annoying me. And Peyton does not get along with her at all. Whereas Jillian shared a room with Joanna and was very close to her growing up and always ended up in the middle between the younger and the older sister. But now she's the one that really needs the support of both her sisters and her parents. And she's still getting put in the middle between the older and the younger. And I don't like the way Joanna is kind of talking to both sisters and trying to tell them what to do and have it her way. So every time she comes on, I'm just, go away. But we'll see what happens. So that's where I'm at right now. So I will check in a bit later once I've read a bit more and let you know what I'm thinking. So I have an update to share. I haven't got very far. I've only read 10 more percent. But I had to come back and share this comment because it associates to what I was saying before. Sometimes your older sister ticks me off. Jeff's voice was tight. I laughed so hard because that's totally how I'm feeling by some of the things she does. However, she did do something really sweet for Jillian just before this. And before she makes more comments to Jillian that kind of annoys Jeff. But she hires a cleaning service for Jillian to help her through this tough time, through her healing process. Through healing, I think healing process is the way to say it, during the treatment process to help her out. And when she called to let her know that she set this up for her, it was like, that is such a sweet moment. But then she goes on to say a few more things, and it was like, well, you just took all the sweetness away and just returned to the character that I didn't like. And then when Jillian is telling Jeff about this and what's happened and stuff, and that's when Jeff makes this comment. So I had to laugh. But the reason I haven't got very much further in the book is because I was reading this. I absolutely love the TV show MASH. It's, I don't know, like, I was born when it was ending its run, basically. So I did not watch it when it was officially on TV the first time. I watched it in reruns, but I watched it with my dad growing up, and I think that kind of cemented my love for it, and I have all 11 seasons on DVD and watched them numerous times. And so my husband got me this for my birthday. It is a 50th anniversary, celebrating the 50th anniversary, and it's all... It's the ultimate guide to MASH. So it's all about like each season and the best episodes, and a lot of stuff I already knew because I know a lot of the behind the facts of it. But I'd seen this in the store, but I was like, I don't really like buying magazines. They're so expensive. Like this one is $16.99. But he got it for my birthday because he knew I would enjoy it. So I am reading this and I'm loving it and just kind of reminiscing about the stuff that I really enjoyed, and yeah. And there's the back. I don't know. MASH is probably my favorite TV comedy ever. And I can't explain it other than I remember watching it with my dad, and he really enjoyed it. And he would laugh at times and was like, why was that funny? But now I've rewatched it as an adult. And it was like, oh, I get that joke. So, yeah. So, anyways, so that's where I'm at right now. So I'm at 60%, and I hope to finish this book today. So I will check back in later. I have returned. I have just finished reading the Things I Never Told You. Yes, Things I Never Told You. And my first reaction at the end was like, what? That's the end? What? I was so like, Because on my Kindle, right, I'm at 88% is where it ended. And I'm like, that can't be the end. Like, I wasn't prepared for it to be the end. And then when it ended, it was like, what? So it doesn't wrap. I mean, it is book one of a series. So, and it features all three sisters throughout the series. So, yeah, it's gonna carry on. But I'm like, what happens with Peyton? And I am so like, I don't know what I think. Because we know that Peyton doesn't believe in God. And over the course of the story, she interacts with Zach, who has become a Christian and is trying to lead Peyton to lean on God. And Peyton, I'm going to bring up a highlight that I did. Peyton asked Zach why. Why do you believe in God? And Zach says, the one who knows me best because he created me, the one who offers me more grace than I offer others, more grace than I offer myself, the one who forgave me of things I still struggle to forgive myself for. That's why I believe in God, Peyton. So Zach is showing her the way, but does Peyton accept? Does she start to... I don't know, because it ended. And as I mentioned before, I was much more invested in Julian's storyline than Peyton's. And while we get glimpses, like point of view from Jillian and what's going on in her life, the majority of this book is about Peyton. And so there was a little bit of Jillian in. As we got closer to the end, it was more and more focused on Peyton than Jillian. And there was one point where Jillian came up, and I was so sad for what was going on in her life. And then a few months go by and stuff, and then all of a sudden an event happens, and I'm just like, oh, thank you. Things are working out like the way I want them to work out. And I was really happy for Jillian. And I wanted to know more about her and how she's doing, and kind of, are things continuing to work the way I want them to work for her. And we see, you know, a little bit of her after that moment, but not a whole lot. Now, I do know book 2 really does kind of, she is more the central character in that one, but I don't know how much of it. And I'm not sure if I'm going to move on to book 2. I'm undecided at this moment. I don't own book 2, so I mean, I'd have to get it to read it. So at this moment in time, I'm not going to move on to it because I don't own it. But I'm also, I don't know. I do not like that it ended unfinished. It felt unfinished to me. I have no idea what Peyton's doing next. She's got decisions to make, and what decisions does she make? I don't know. So, yeah. So, I don't know what I'm going to rate this book at. Right now, I'm probably leaning towards a 3 because I didn't find myself caring that much about the main character. I definitely cared more about a secondary storyline. And, I mean, as much as I want to know what happened with Peyton, because I would like wrapped up stories. But will book 2 give me that? I don't know. I'm so undecided. So I've got to take some time and kind of think about how I want to rate this. Okay, so after going back and forth a bit on deciding what my next read is going to be, I have settled on To the Farthest Shore by Elizabeth Camden. I read the prologue and chapter 1 in my try a chapter video that I did in October, I think it was. I will link that video below in the description. And after reading the first chapter, I wanted to know what was going on, and I was interested enough in the characters to decide to keep this book. And now I'm going to read it and see, did the first chapter, like, once I get, does that make any sense? Once I get past the first chapter, will the book continue to keep me interested in it? We will see. And then once I'm done, a review will be coming soon. Thank you for following along today as I read through The Things I Never Knew by Beth Vogt and kind of shared a bit of my thoughts. I'm still kind of processing exactly what I want to say, but I will have my full thoughts in a review video coming shortly. Thank you, and I would appreciate if you would tune back in tomorrow for day 4. Thank you. Bye.